This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Agun Erev Shabbos Rabbi, the Zohar HaKadosh reveals to us an amazing principle, and this Zohar is quoted in the Pnei Yeshua, Masechta Kedushin. The Zohar says the word Yisrael is Rashi Tevois, Yesh Shishim Riboy Oisiyos LaTorah. There are 600,000 letters in the Torah, and there are many Mefarshim discuss the fact that there are only about half that number of Oisiyos, but the idea being that every Jew has a connection to one particular Ois in the Torah. There's one Ois in the Torah that every Jew is connected to. There's a Sefer Arvei Nachal written by Rav David Eibeshitz, no relation to Rabbi Yonasan Eibeshitz. He's the author of Levushei Srad, commentary on the Magen Avram. It appears in every Shulchan Aruch. He wrote the Sefer Arvei Nachal, and he takes this idea one step further. Says the Arvei Nachal, a Jew has many dimensions. A Jew has a guf, but then a Jew has naran, a nefesh, ruach, neshama. And it's not just a general idea that a Jew corresponds to a letter in the Torah. Every aspect of the Yid corresponds to another aspect of the Ois. And just like a Jew has 4 aspects, so too the Ois in the Torah have 4 aspects and 4 dimensions. What are they? Well, says the Arvei Nachal, you have the Ois itself. You have the tagin, the mystical crowns on top of the letters. You have the nekudos, you have the vocalization. And then you have the trup, you have the cantillation, the musical notes. Well, says the Arvei Nachal, the same way a Yid has a guf, a nefesh, a ruach, and a neshama, and every Jew corresponds to a letter in the Torah, every facet of the Jew corresponds to another facet of the Ois. So the guf of the Yid, the body of a Jew, corresponds to the actual guf ha'ois, the actual ois. The nefesh corresponds to the tagin. Now the tagin appear in the Sefer Torah. Why? Because every single Jew has a nefesh to the same amount. And therefore every Sefer Torah has tagin, and they're apparent. Not every Jew has the same level of ruach, and therefore the nekudos do not appear in the Sefer Torah, because it's not shaveh l'chol ha'Yisraelim. The nekudos do not appear in the Sefer Torah. The trup, says the Arvei Nachal, corresponds to the neshama. The soul of the Torah is the musical notes, the cantillation, the trup. That corresponds to the neshama. And not every Jew has the same level of neshama, and that is why the trup do not appear in the Sefer Torah. But says the Arvei Nachal, you can be sure that the Sefer Torah in Shamayim, you have oisios, you have tagin, you have nekudos, and you have trup. The trup corresponds to the neshama of the Jew, and therefore really the deepest level of the Torah, the highest level of the Torah, are the Tamei HaMikra. In fact, I just saw recently, there's a new sefer called Mesois Tevel, different inyanim that Rabbi Ovadia Yosef said about the Parshas HaShavua from all of the various Svarim that have been published. So it brings down there from the Sefer Madani Melech, Chelak Aleph, that Rabbi Ovadia instructed that if you don't know the trup, you need to learn it. And if you can't find anyone to teach it to you, you have to pay someone to teach it to you. Every Jew needs to know the trup. In fact, Rabbi Ovadia once, during his tenure as chief rabbi of Tel Aviv, he sent his son to yeshiva, and in the yeshiva, of course, they were learning all the limudim. There was nobody teaching the Bachrim trup. So Rabbi Ovadia hired a special malamed to teach his son trup, and Rabbi Ovadia said, Baruch Hashem, I did that. Now my son knows the psukim even better than me. He kemat knows all the psukim in Chumash, kemat bal peh. And in fact, Rabbi Ovadia paskined for all the yeshivas in his yeshiva network that on Friday they bring in malamdim, and Friday the Bachrim learn the Tamei HaMikra, the trup al Torah. Well, if that is the case, in this week's Parsha we encounter a very extraordinary trup, very unusual trup, a rare trup, and this is a trup that only appears 4 times in the entire Chumash. And that is when Eliezer offers his tefillah to find a shidduch for Rivka, for Yitzchak, Vayoimar Shalsheles. A Shalsheles. What is the significance of this trup, Shalsheles? What is the significance of why it appears over here? And what in general does the Shalsheles teach us because we know this is one of 4 of these trop that appear in the Chumash. The other one is in Parshas Chayei, when the Malachim came to rescue Lot, and Lot was saying, should I go? Should I not go? I still have some stocks. I still have some investment. Right? We have a Shalsheles in that word, and he delayed. And there also we find the trop Shalsheles. And then you have in Parshas Vayeshev, Yosef is sold down to Mitzrayim, and he's a slave in the house of Potiphar. And one day Potiphar's not around, and Eshes Potiphara, she sees him. He's a young man, he's a handsome man, and she advances to him, and she grabs him, Vayimain, Shalsheles. And then, Vayimain means he refused.
No, but Yosef was troubled about it.
And then finally, the 4th time Shalsheles appears is in Parshas Tzav, by the Chanukah, by the inauguration of the Mishkan. You have on the word, and this is probably the most difficult of all the Shalsheles to try to explain, on the word Vayishchat. You have a Shalsheles on the word Vayishchat. And the question is, what is the meaning of this rare trop? What is the secret of the Shalsheles? So, Rav Tam, Rav Shiva of Tarvadas, he said over, and I believe I heard my father say this over, I heard this from Rabbi Yisrael Reisman, an amazing idea, stunning idea. What is the inyan of the Shalsheles? Says Rav Tam, often in life we encounter a situation that seems small, it seems insignificant, it seems trivial, innocuous. What's the big deal? Adar ya, adar nisht. Either I do it, I don't do it. Does it really have tremendous ramifications? Doesn't seem to be that significant. It doesn't seem to have earth-shattering ramifications. Either way. But often in reality is that it's a very big deal. Often the reality is that it will have earth-shattering ramifications. Not only will it affect you, not only will it affect your family, not only will it affect your children, it will affect the entire Shalsheles of Klal Yisrael. You don't realize it, but if you look carefully, you'll see this will have ramifications throughout history. Eliezer's looking for the right shidduch for Yitzchak. So he gets the right girl. He doesn't get the right girl right. They're all the same. All the meidulach, they're all the same. So if I get him this meidulach, that meidulach, what's the big deal? No, this is a very big deal. The entire Shalsheles of the Avos HaKadoshim is at stake. Is there going to be a Yaakov Avinu? Are there going to be Shiftei Ka? You think this is small? No. Vayoymar. This is a big deal. The entire Shalsheles of the lineage of Klal Yisrael is at stake. If he finds Rivka, this will produce Shalsheles ha'avos. Malachim come to Sodom. Lloyd says, should I go? Should I not go? Is it a big deal? If they get the daughters out, they don't get the daughters out. What would have been anyway, 1 million people are dying in Sodom. So if another guy bites the dust, is it really a big deal? It's a very big deal. Because who comes from Lloyd or Shnei Ben Osav? Moav. Rus HaMoyaviyah, David HaMelech, Shalsheles HaMalchus, Shalsheles of Klal Yisrael, Mashiach ben David. It doesn't seem like a big deal. It doesn't seem like a watershed event. It is a watershed event. The whole Shalsheles of Malchus based David is at stake. Vayismama, Shalsheles. Yosef. Will he succumb to Aisha's Potiphar or not? Look, many people in history have been tempted, and many people have failed. What will be so terrible? If Yosef fails, a lot of people fail a test. But if Yosef fails a test, then he's not going to be Yosef HaTzadik. If he's not Yosef HaTzadik, there's no Menashe Ephraim. He won't be able to maintain Klal Yisrael on the right Madrega Mitzrayim. When we're leaving Mitzrayim, we weren't able to leave until they saw Aroinoi Shel Yosef. It was the Aroinoi Shel Yosef that split the Yam Suf. We would have gotten the Torah. There would have been no Yitzias Mitzrayim, no Kabbalas HaTorah, no Klal Yisrael, no Eretz Yisrael. It was all because of Yosef HaTzadik, Vayima'in. It seems like a small act, an insignificant act. It seems trivial. No, the Torah is saying the whole Shalsheles of Klal Yisrael is on the line. Vayishchat. Shechting a behema. There's so many karbanos. What in the world is so special about Vayishchat? The answer is very simple. Until this point in time, the avodah rested in the hands of the Bechorah. Now, after the Chet HaEgel, we are inaugurating Kahuna. We're inaugurating the Kohanim. Kohanim are inaugurating themselves in their avodah. If not for this moment, there would be no Kahuna. There would no be avodah in the Beis HaMikdash. There would be no Amud Shekol HaOlam Oimed Olav. It seems like a small event. It seems like an insignificant event. No, the entire Shalsheles of Kahuna is dependent on it. Says Rapam, in life, there are often moments where a person says, it's not really a big deal. Should I come to the Shiur on Friday? Should I not come to the Shiur on Friday? Beya, I learned it before. This Parsha, I learned Chayei. Will it really affect my life? The lesson of the Shalsheles is that every nisayon in life where a person wants to say, it's not a big deal, it's a trivial thing. No, this not only affects you, not only does it affect your family, ultimately this could affect the entire Shalsheles of Klal Yisrael. Agon Shabbat.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.